Hi, this is Kevin with Advanced Leather Solutions. With me today is Jason Murray, our senior technician, and we're going to do a demonstration of how to resolve pretty severe cat scratching. In this particular case, and we see this from time to time, the scratches literally shredded the leather, and as you can see here, it's a fairly significant issue. We go down here, this is sort of the more normal way we see a cat scratch. We see little pock marks and perhaps an elongated scratch, but sometimes we see this. And so the way we handle this is slightly different than the way we handle our normal cat scratch repair process. So Jason is going to show us how to do that. Take it away, Jay.
Okay. There's some tape here because these are exposed and they are not colored, so I don't want to get color on them, so I'll tape those off.
Now normally that's not an issue, but in this particular case, because we have a raw edge, we do want to protect that raw edge.
Okay, so then you've got your protective gloves.
Now this is a water-based chemistry, so if you chose to just go bare hands, that's fine too. We'll wipe right off your hands.
Makes cleanup a little easier to have it on the glove. Okay, so we've got our base color here.
Right, so we mix that color consistent with the chair, so this is a custom mix based upon the chair.
This has been pre-matched. Okay. Now this is one of the gray abrasive pads that are in the kit, and what we're doing here is normally when we're prepping a chair, before we put color on, we would put a primer over first. But what I want to see happen here is have the color penetrate in and color in all of this damaged area here. So the very action of me using this abrasive pad in conjunction with the color, it's accomplishing the same goal. The color with the abrasive action of the pad is acting like a primer too. And so what I'm trying to do is, a lot of these are little flaps, and I'm trying to push those flaps back so that I can get color down into the damaged areas.
So you're first standing the edges of the flap, standing up away from the perpendicular.
And that's my first motion. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and lay all those back down. Because each one of these flaps represent material now. If we just sanded those off, there would be a void that we had to fill. But if we can lay these flaps down, we retain that material and there's less filling to be done.
Yes.
There's some underneath here too. This cat really got with the program. And so I'm using a heat gun. You could be using a hair dryer. And as they dry, you can just lay these flaps flat. So if we can retain as much material as possible, it reduces the amount of filling that we have to do. Now right there, that's a significant improvement over how it looked before.
There's no question.
It's fairly smooth. It will need some sanding, and that's what we'll do here next. Okay, so that's pretty much dry.
So while Jason is setting up to do the sanding, to put it in perspective, I'm going to go over to this here. And so here, this one, it was not as bad, but you can see we are dealing with the same thing. And now we bring it over to here, and here is the look after step one has been completed. So step one is to scrub the color in a manner that it actually pulls the flaps up to a perpendicular, and then lay the flaps back down again by pushing up the color applicator, the gray pad, in the opposite direction.
Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth this out. These are the ultra-fine sanding pads that are included in the kit, and that will just take off any fibers that are still standing vertical. And it's nice because what has happened for the most part is that the finish has bonded all these flaps down, and so they don't move, whereas if we had sanded it before, they would have wanted just to do this back and forth with the sanding motion.
Yes.
So this may stand up a couple have lifted up here, but when we do the next step, which is the filling step, we can lay those back down with filler. So yeah, it's pretty smooth.
Okay.
So the next step here would be the filler. Now this would be in the repair kit add-on that would be shipped with kits that have repairs to do. So with these little flaps that have come up again, I just want to backfill them a little bit, and all of this is explained in the cat scratch demo video. Just have a couple here.
So the idea is to backfill and then lay that flat back down again.
Yeah. Again, saving the material so it takes less filler. So then once those are down, you can just use the palette knife to fill in.
Sort of troweling it over.
Yeah, and because there's so much damage here, you're pretty much going to have to do the entire area. And just try and make your swipes even. Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. You don't want to put it on too thick because it takes a lot longer to dry. When you're done, you should probably also clean off the palette knife before the next, remove any filler. Because if it dries on there, then you put new filler on and you create rake marks when you're doing it the next time.
So you want a smooth edge to the palette knife.
Right.
So now this can air dry, but we're going to accelerate the drying process using the heat gun. Again, a hair dryer will perform a similar function.
You can see a lot of the milkiness disappears as it dries. That's a sign of the water departing.
So it's a water-based chemistry leaving behind the fill material,
right.
And as the water evaporates away, the fill material goes clear.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. And then what I'll do is I will sand it again, smooth it out.
So you're doing a sanding motion again in the direction of the flaps, to making sure that you don't pull too many of those flaps back up again.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then there's just a little bit more to fill here. And at this level of damage, what you're really just wanting to do is get it as smooth as you can. You're never going to get it 100% flat. So when this is all completed, there will be some minor distortions visible, but nothing, nothing nearly as visible as anything like that.
Yes. And the idea is to do it in such a way that a person who had not known it was damaged wouldn't necessarily notice the actual repaired area. So the key to that is actually getting the color right, and of course that's the part that we do for you.
Yeah. And so at this point, once you get your repairs to this level where it's nice and smooth, this will probably take just a little bit more sanding, but once it's nice and smooth, then I would go ahead and prime the rest of the chair using the method described in the DVD and the instructions. And you can prime right over this filled area.
For the color application.
For the color application. And once everything is primed, once you put color over, all of this will disappear.
Right. Good. Thank you very much, Jay.
Okay.
That explains it well. Thank you.
Good luck.